everybody, welcome into another episode of Inside Pitch here at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I'm Ben Frederickson alongside Jeff Gordon, and we're here to fight about the fate of the Cardinals season. It's halfway point officially, Gordo. Now, usually the halfway point is more talked about at the All-Star break, but the Cardinals are at the mathematical halfway point as we record this. They're 40-41, headed to Colorado. They're going to finish out the first half before the All-Star break on the road. You're saying this season is more or less a lost cause. I'm saying I think that takes the pressure off the front office to improve this team. I think the Cardinals need to have a win now lean in order to keep people inspired about this product and also kind of back up some of the things they said entering this season, getting Nolan Arenado, bringing back Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina. You're saying, hey, I don't know if there's a way to fix this team. Why are you so down, man?
Well, I mean, they're not very good, BenFred. And,
well, that's fair.
You know, and really, the historically bad Arizona team almost picked them off at least once.
Hey, they swept the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, but, you know, those games were more perilous than they needed to be. Look, here's the thing. I'll meet you halfway, BenFred. I think they need to do enough to salvage the season, to avoid a complete collapse, because that would really, you don't want to do that to your fans. You don't want to do that to the organization with so many young players that are still trying to build their careers. You don't want to ruin guys. You don't want to become the Pirates. You don't want to subject young players to that suffering. So I'm meeting you halfway. I think you got to make this team better, get the most out of the season that you can. But, BenFred, you got to realize better times are ahead. And the good news, with all the suffering, they've got some legitimate guys that are coming up that can hit the ball, and they should have some pitching next year. So there's a future, but how do you make the present less terrible, I think, is my optimistic view.
That's the glass half full for you.
For me, yes.
I'll just say this. The Cardinals say the same thing around every trade deadline, and they've said it for almost a half decade of trade deadlines now. And it's hard to make trades. They can't trade they shouldn't trade their top prospects for a rental. I agree with these things, and of course it's hard to make trades. But every year there are teams that have a win now lean that improve at the trade deadline without selling off their Nolan Gormans and their Matthew Liberatores. Look at what the Brewers have done with their trade. They made a trade in May, which is like unheard of, and they've launched to the top of the division. It didn't take their whole farm system to make a move that improved their team. There's a way for the Cardinals to get some starting pitching help. That's what they have to do. When they can get a quality start from a starter, they're a pretty good team. They're not going to win by a lot, but they can steal some wins. I think they've got to get a starter, and it doesn't have to be a rental, Gordo. They could use some starting pitching help next season. I don't know that they're going to go on a run. I don't know that they've got it in them, but I do think the front office, for the first time, and going back to 15, the fan base deserves for them to make some win-now moves before the trade deadline, and we'll see where they end up. You can't have a disinterested Cardinals fan base for the second half after the All-Star break. We'll see if the Cardinals team can give the front office some motivation with how they play against some tougher opponents here coming up after Colorado and the Giants, and also a trip to Wrigley Field and the Cubs. We'll have it all covered at stltoday.com. For Jeff Gordon, I'm Ben Frederickson. We'll talk to you next week.